Yeah, it seems like Netanyahu is hell bent on having an all-out war with Iran, and seems as if the citizens of Israel and the whole Jewish diaspora all over the world want to go into this holy war. But what I want to say is that these guys are either suicidal or delusional. The reason I say suicidal is because nothing good can come out of that war for Israel. Nothing. Nothing good for Iran, maybe too. What will come out of it is it will absolutely devastate their economy. It will lead to a lot of deaths. It will lead to a lot of people having to live under the ground because they're going to take a pummeling from Iran's missiles, which are very accurate. They make some of the best missiles in the world, and their drones. And in the last 12-day war, we saw what what Iran can do to Israel. And as time goes by, Iran gets stronger and bolder. Iran is no longer saying they're going to do retaliation strikes. They're now thinking about preemptive strikes. And they've said that even if Israel or America do a symbolic attack on them, which is just to flex muscles, they are going to go all out war on Iran, all out war on anybody that allows the US or Israel to fly over it and do their attacks on Iran. So that's why I say this is suicidal for Israel. All of this on top of the fact that Israel is having a brain drain, in which last year over 50,000 people left, and a good 30% of the population is thinking of leaving. And all of these people that are leaving are high tech people who bring a lot of money to Israel. That's why I say they're either suicidal or delusional. So the delusional part comes in which Israel thinks that number one, America will get its back if they go into an all-out war with Iran, and they'll be able to topple Iran, get rid of their leader, or put the country in disarray the way they did with Syria. And they also have this messianic view that either God or Zionism is unstoppable. If they go to war with Iran, they're going to pay heavily. 12-day war with Iran last time was $6 to $12 billion. That's almost more than one-fourth of their whole budget every year on military. They can't afford a war. If they go to war with Iran, it's going to cost them trillions. And what they will say is that the U.S. will jump in. The U.S. right now is busy battling people on the streets of Minnesota, has a $40 trillion deficit. If Trump backs Israel in a $1 trillion war to the level of what they did in Iraq, he's going to pay the price in America, and America is going to they're going to revolt against their government. So I don't know if it's just braggadocio where Israel's saying, "Oh, we're going to attack," or if they really want to attack and hope that the U.S. backs them up. What the people of Israel need to see is that Netanyahu is trying to take the heat off of himself because once all of these perpetual wars are over, he's going to be kicked out of office, and he doesn't mind dragging Israel and the rest of the world into a dark age. What are your thoughts, Afolabi? Hey, I knocked it out, man. A good intro.
Yeah, I quite agree with you. Netanyahu is already is sinking basically, and is I mean, they said a dying man will clutch at the straw. He's looking for how to find a way to drag people down with him. And if you look at this, because Israel is already stretched, there are a lot of conflicts they're involved in. This should be a very foolish act. They're already fighting Hamas in Gaza. There's Hezbollah on the Lebanese border, and there are targets in Syria that they're attacking. Managing Palestinian in the West Bank, these are not just simple fronts. And then you look at Iran. Iran is not just any other country. Iran is going to take a lot of resources from them, already stretched resources. And like you rightly alluded to, US is not Big Brother Africa or Father Christmas. They can't expect the US to fund all these their stupid conflicts and wars. The US itself has its own problems to solve. And the MAGA base itself, too, if they don't find a way of curbing their foreign policies, there's going to be an implosion. So thinking always that the US is going to give them financial backing for conflicts like this is just pure and simply delusional. And I don't know why they're doing this, because if you look at Iran themselves, they're quite a formidable country when it comes to warfare. They have ballistic missiles, they have a lot of naval
They have
capability.
hypersonic too. I think they have
Yeah, and
hypersonic. Yeah.
hypersonic too. And when you have Hezbollah, just around the corner, it could easily escalate to the Red Sea, the Gulf, Iraq, Syria. It's going to be a big, hyper-headed monster, the war, if they proceed into this. And
Yeah,
they're going to
and
come
the
out
Strait
of
of
it.
Hormuz, Hezbollah, not just Hezbollah, the Houthis
The
have already
Houthis as
said
well
they're
in
going to
Yemen.
shut down that
So
Strait of Hormuz, and the price of oil is going to go all around the world. So I just don't understand what the U.S. is driven and Israel are driven by ideology. They have never forgiven Iran for overthrowing the Shah, who was an American puppet, and for putting in the Look, I did my friends. They shouldn't put me in jail. Khomeini, Ayatollah. They don't like that. They want
They don't,
America
yeah.
doesn't like to see countries that have sovereignty. We saw what they did to Venezuela, but unlike
Yeah.
Venezuela, Iran is not in their backyard. Iran is not in the Western Hemisphere, and Israel does not have the balls or the bombs to take down Iran. Like I said, you saw what happened before. It cost Israel $12 billion of their $45 billion a year um, military budget to fight these guys. Now they're arguing that they have to attack Iran in order to because Iran is supporting Hezbollah and other so-called terrorist groups. All of these are liberation groups. The only terrorist group I see in that area is IDF, but that's a story for another day. But that's not going to work because Iran is a country of about 100 million people, I think, 50 to 100 million. They've been around for civilization has been around for thousands of years. Very complex, sophisticated country, which you're not going to take down. If the U.S. couldn't keep troops on the ground in Iraq, which is much smaller than Iran, what makes them think they're going to do it with Iran? As you mentioned, Iraq and Syria. I think it's Iraq and Lebanon and Hezbollah and groups in Iraq will actually help and join the war because this is their part of the world. And they know that they're going to be next. So this is a war that can't be won. The U.S. could heavily bomb Iran for some time, but they're going to lose a lot of planes because of Iran's missiles. So what will happen is they could bomb and try to bring the country in disarray, but that's just going to cost money. It's going to destabilize the region, and it's not going to bring a regime change in Iran. So I would think twice with Israel and the U.S. if they want to start with a fight with Iran, because even if you win, you're going to come back with a broken jaw, broken nose, splintered spleen, and you won't live long. This is something that is going to lead to a world war, which is everybody's going to suffer. What are your last thoughts, Afalabi?
Yeah, and I think all of this is because they think or maybe sort of assume that Iran can be hit without any serious retaliation, which is really delusional if you look at it. It assumes that other fronts will stay quiet while the new war starts.
You
And
saw what? Okay, you saw what happened the last time, 12-day war.
yes,
They
yes,
pummeled. Israelis were living under the ground. They
yes,
tried to leave the country.
yes, they were plummeted. And look at the economic resources that went for it. And Israel is already stretched economically in terms of manpower in the military. They're politically
Yeah.
exhausted. They don't have the capacity
And
of a
and
new
and
war.
Iran sent a missile to a U.S. base in Qatar, but it was a staged missile strike. But it was just a warning to say we can attack. And what then America? It's Saudi Arabia and UAE and these countries that are allies with Iran. Iran will strike them. So now they're putting pressure on America not to get involved because Iran will be like, okay, you let America use yourself as bases and stuff, and maybe we can't hurt America, but we're going to hurt you. So they're going to strike at UAE, Qatar, and those Emirate nations, and that's why I'm hearing stories that or hearing reliable information on the news is that UAE, the Emirates, and everybody in Saudi Arabia said, "We want no part of this, and we will not help you, America," because they know what will happen. Iran will strike them, and this was always been the biggest fear of the U.S. and Israel that Iran would grow into itself and become a superpower militarily, which they are. We know that they're not at the level of the U.S. or Russia or China or even Turkey, but they're a superpower in which they could bring Israel to his knees unless America jumps in. If America doesn't jump in, they will obliterate Israel. They don't need nuclear weapons. Their missiles and even though their economy is not doing well, their war economy is doing well. So all I have to say, Israel, you think this is going to be a easy fight? I'm going to say the best word ever. You know what those words are? For I be fofa. What is fofa? Fuck FIFO. Fuck around and find out.
Right
All
out.
right,
Okay.
all right. Let's get out of here. So let's talk about.